there's the soil, you have your seeds. What are the seeds? The seeds of Iman, the seeds of good manners, the seeds of discipline, hard work, ambition, being kind to others. These are all the seeds that we want to plant in our children. So just as we said, we have the idea of us as guardians, okay, as keepers of amana. Just like a gardener keeps his garden. He makes sure that he plants the seeds at the right time. He makes sure that he waters the seeds just enough, in the right season. He makes sure he takes out the weeds. And one of the weeds that I fear is damaging the plants in our gardens today is weed of exposure. What do I mean by exposure? Exposure to the types of media that can destroy even adults. Today, it is not uncommon to find parents giving their child of 2 years old or 3 a smartphone to keep them busy. If I ask you for a moment of honesty, would you put your hand up to say you have put your child in front of a screen to keep them quiet even once in your life? I've done it. I know it's more than that. And the men are saying, it's not my responsibility, that's the mum. We do this. The smartphone is there, the tablet is there, the TV is there, and they're there to keep the children quiet. So we can talk on the phone, take care of some business, cook the dinner or have a rest or whatever it is. But what we need to be careful of is that those things that you are giving your child to keep them quiet and calm are actually damaging them. And the younger they are exposed, the more damage you're allowing into your house. All right, anybody who has a child of 10 or older who has a smartphone, put your hand up. Put your hand up, it's okay. We know it's the majority of people who can afford, they do that. You give your child a smartphone when they're 10, 11, 12, but that smartphone gives them exposure. It gives them access to things you have no idea about. And so we need to, as parents, again, this is the tarbiyah of ourselves, we need to, as parents, be honest with ourselves, because sometimes we cut corners when we're raising the kids. I get it. Nobody wants to be running around screaming kids all the time. Dads, mums, there has to be a time in your schedule when you actually pay attention to your child. When you actually put away what you want to do something that will be beneficial or enjoyable with your children. We can't allow nannies to raise our children. Not that nannies are not beneficial, we love them, they help us. But your nanny is not going to be asked about your child, I'm sorry. That's you, and that's you. So we need to make time in our lives to raise these kids. We live lives where, as adults, we want to just live our life. Especially, mashallah, in places where in Nigeria where there's help at home, it's very easy to become complacent and say, they're taken care of, they're safe. They're with Nana, they're fine. But then you find when they become teenagers, you're trying to tell them something that they're like, no. What? But the whole time they were on Disney Junior, Disney X, whatever, and they were taking whatever they were taking and learning what they were learning, language, attitudes, relationships, everything that they know, they learned from Disney. Everything they know, they learned from Snapchat. Everything they know, they learned from Instagram and Rihanna and Beyonce and Messi and whoever else there is out there. Because they were their role models. They went on their Twitter feed, they watched their YouTube vlogs, they watched their videos, they absorbed their life lessons. Because my dad never sat me down and told me anything. He didn't sit down and tell me his life story. He didn't sit down and listen to me when I wanted to talk about how a tough day at school, or how I'm struggling with getting ready for my exams, or how there's this girl, Josh, she's after me, and I don't know what to do. I can't even tell my dad. I can't tell my mom. There's a boy who's been WhatsApping me, and I like him. What should I do? Instead, they go onto social media and ask their friends. We have to carve that time with them. And I'm sorry if it feels like a chore. It shouldn't, but sometimes it does, but it's necessary. We have to be prepared to make time for these kids now, because otherwise we will lose them. That connection will not be there. That trust will not be there. And when they need help and they struggle with a challenge, they are not going to come to you, because there's no relationship, there's no trust. And so if we want to truly be able to say we are nurturing the next generation, we need to be vigilant like gardeners, watching the sun, watching the rain clouds, watching the weeds. What's blooming? What's not blooming? What's wrong with the ones that are not blooming? Making sure we feed them extra fertilizer. You know, some children, they bloom late. We know that, right? They blossom late. And until that time, you're not sure, is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it? So if we have a child that is a bit slow developing, he's maybe behind his peers, or he's not as brilliant as his siblings, as a gardener, what is your job? Clear the weeds. Put fertilizer. Make sure you spend a bit more time and care with that particular plant or that group of plants. Because inshallah, those seeds that we've planted, they will grow.